The last question on here, question 7, is another one I wanted to point to because it has a particular reason. And that's where I actually ask for an evaluation of what do you think is the reason that we have observed this anomalous thing. It would be unusual to search for 8 weeks without success. What do you think is the best explanation? Question. Answer 1, random chance, could happen to anybody. Answer B, bad luck. Jay just is particularly just an unlucky fellow. Yeah. Number C is Jay is a poor searcher. That would be in the non-generic format. It would be like Jay is just bad at searching for jobs or bad at interviewing for jobs. In the dating context, it would be Jay is bad at asking for dates. And in the fishing context, it would be that Jay is just a poor fisherman.
He's just a bit too generic to get things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read A and B as like kind of the same, bad luck and random chance, and I read C and D is kind of the same, like he's a poor searcher or there's something wrong with him. And then E seems different, but I don't know, like I might find it more interesting to leave a blank, like why do you think this could be?
Leave an open-ended answer.
But that would be such a huge pain in the ass to statistically go through and be like, what do these people think?
Yeah, you have to keep, usually it involves 2 people.
Yeah,
And so you have to have agreement, it's on there and 2. So it's one of those things that can take some time. However, strangely enough, if you get a lot of these responses, you can run them through Mechanical Turk again, which I've done.
So, I mean, I guess like that would be the thing.
Mechanical Turk is displacing graduate students.
Yes, it is. Much cheaper than graduate students, and if you get a lot of people doing things, it's more accurate.
Uh-huh.
So that's the only thing
Yeah.
I would say about that is that like it just kind of seems, I just wouldn't answer it, frankly.
Now, you wouldn't give any response at all?
No, probably not.
It couldn't hurt to just have information that's not something you can put in statistics where you just like,
Yeah.
at the end of your paper say, a lot of people said this and a lot of people said that, you know.
So that's a possibility.
I think it's fine that A and B are the same and C and D are the same. I think it's almost cool that it's that way because you're trying to see if people are framing things rationally or irrationally, and A and B are both rational answers. I mean, I guess bad luck isn't as rational, but going 8 weeks with a 1 in 4 probability is pretty, that's an outlier, which you can say is bad luck.
What I'm curious, the distinction I was curious to get at with the distinction between A and B is whether people tend to tag this as a characteristic of the person. Do they think it's something that person do they conceptualize it as something that person carries around with them, or as simply something that happens to that person externally? And sort of from a rational point of view, you know, bad luck, we don't think of that as sort of a mark on somebody's forehead, but a lot of people do.
Okay, we're good. There and then there.
Yeah, that was what I was sort of going to say about luck. It seems like, you know, people really, they won't admit it, but a lot of people really have a belief in sort of destiny or even inevitability. You know, I mean, a long time ago I read about, you know, studies that basically show people believe the chance of something will increase the more they do it, like, you know, like buying lottery tickets or whatever, or, you know, they'll go from being losers to winners in a lottery if they just keep trying, even though that doesn't make sense. It makes sense in our evolutionary history, though, because random events typically in the natural world correlate with searches where there's a finite number of spaces, and the longer you search, you actually will have a higher chance. And a lot of people probably see that in job markets or situations where it might not necessarily be true.
And one of the things I'm curious about is, for instance, are people more likely to impute bad luck to the person in a job search context and to just say it's random chance in the fishing context, which would be interesting.
We're there and then we're there.
John, you just said what I thought would be interesting in comparing this is whether there's any significant difference between fishing, dating, and job search, whether they connotate that with random chance or bad luck. I think you might might find that.
Yeah, and I'm very curious.
It's testable, but you have to have a serious sample size in order to get there. We're here, and then we're here.
The only other thing I thought of is if you're gonna do this with the job search, I know, if you go for a long period of time being unemployed, when you have a next interview, somebody looks at that and says, why haven't you been able to find a job? So you might wanna put in the beginning information, this person is employed, they're looking for a different job or something like that, so that you're not assuming that there's something inherently wrong with them to begin with. Like, it maybe buys it that they're an okay person to begin with, they don't totally suck.
Any discussion of that?
Well, I think that the way you phrase it right now is pretty good because you don't wanna like bias a result by putting a lot of stipulations on individual J. Like, because I mean the reasoning process might be to change the definition of J subconsciously, or something like that. And I think, if you're being exploratory, you might rather want to capture that.
Okay. Do you have a response? I got to get there and then there.
I just have an experimental question. I noticed that when I was going through this, I went back and looked at did you guys already discuss this? I went back and looked at exactly what you were saying with the statistics before. Is this going to be on the screen the whole time?
I think so, yeah, I'm thinking this could, because there aren't any trick questions or surprises, I'm thinking this could all be a one-pager.
I was thinking it might be interesting if you had a vignette that was like a little bit more attributable to solely random chance, rather like the fishing is in that direction, but it has a skill element.
Yeah.
If it was like 1 in 4 that you would win this lottery,
Jury duty.
that might be.
Being picked for jury duty.
That's just a thought. Like then you could have one that was like more social, one that was more skill, and one that was totally random, and then compare the Bayesian up.
So I suppose this will experiment for people's understanding of statistics as it's less of a random element.
The classic on this one on updating is an earn experiment.
Where you draw balls out and earn.
Yep. Yeah, red ball, green ball. Usually it's 5, and you have to pick out which ball is the majority in there. And that ball, that majority will have usually twice the frequency of the other balls. Okay.
Okay. Just in terms of, the only thing I would add is in terms of statistics, it's actually, as I framed this, going to be it's going to be fairly simple to arrive at the basic result. I mean, basically, since the null hypothesis is all of the answers in each of the 3 treatments will be distributed identically, it's a straight chi-square test.
Thank you. Exactly. Yay!